Hello, everyone. My name is Mal. Wow. Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. My name is Mallory, and we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. That was such a weird way for me to start. Don't know what that was about. Anyway, it's been a long day. Anyway, I'm super excited to have my friend Lili on. She was on here. She's been on the show another time at least. Once or twice, at least another time she's been on, and we are going to have a really good conversation. She is an intern with Standing With You, and with everything going on with Roe, we're preparing for a Post Roe America. So Lili is going to talk to us a little bit about resources, our rights as pregnant women in college, and just so many other things within that context. So Lili, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about what made you interested in wanting to help women?
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for having me, Mal. So basically, where my interest in this stems is when I realized in my freshman year of college how little students knew about pregnancy resources and their Title IX rights. I actually knew very little as well, but I knew that these things were out there. I knew they existed. And I realized that one of the reasons a lot of students were struggling if they were pregnant or felt pressure to get abortions or things like that was because they didn't know about their rights as pregnant students and they didn't know about the resources available to them. So from there, I became very passionate about just raising awareness, basically, making sure that everybody knows about the rights and the resources that are available to them.
Okay, well, let's get into some of the rights and resources because we talked a little bit before and she mentioned some things that I didn't even know about. So can you tell us a little bit what Title IX is? Because we hear that talked about, and I feel like it's thrown around a lot, but can you tell us exactly what Title IX is and what it does?
Yeah, so Title IX is a section of the Education Amendments, and it's it's very broad. So it has to do with sex-based discrimination in publicly funded schools. So, a lot of things fall under it, like sexual assault or harassment or those kinds of things. So if that kind of thing happens to you on your campus, you've probably heard of Title IX and your Title IX coordinator. But Title IX also covers rights for pregnant and parenting students. So under Title IX, pregnant and parenting students have certain rights on college and high school campuses as well. There's a lot of, misconceptions about what that is, but basically, if you're pregnant on your campus, you have the right to certain things. So you have the right to take a leave of absence if you need to. You can re-enter into your academic programs, whether it was you were an honors program or anything else. You can take your leave of absence and enter with the same standing that you had before. Your university is not allowed to kick you out of that. If you're a student athlete, you should never feel pressured to have an abortion to stay on your team. That actually happened a while back. There was some students at I forget the name of the university, but I can give it to you afterwards so you can link it. It was it happened at a few of them. Basically what happened was they made these girls sign this paperwork saying if you get pregnant, you're kicked off the team unless you have an abortion because you can't be pregnant and be on this team. And under Title IX, that's illegal. So schools can't do that. So basically, some girls had an abortion because they didn't want to suffer the consequences. And then other girls who decided to keep their children, they lost their scholarship, they lost their participation on the team. And that's illegal under Title IX. So schools are not allowed to take away your athletic participation or participation in any other kinds of academic programs. You're allowed to take a leave of absence. You're allowed to do makeup work. They're not allowed to deny you any kind of accessibility. They have to make the same accommodations for you as they would for other students with temporary disability. So that's how pregnant students need to be treated as someone with a temporary disability that needs to be accommodated. So there's a lot of things that fall under Title IX. Like you have a right to breastfeed or pump at school. You have the right to take as many absences from class as your doctor says is necessary. You're not allowed to you lose your financial aid, your scholarships, or there's a lot of things that fall under it. But basically, the main problem is that schools and teachers and students they don't know what these rights are. Students aren't educated, so that's something that I'm really passionate about. Is that discrimination happens against.
You froze.
Oh, sorry,
Lili, you're freezing. Technical difficulties, you guys. Hold on one second. It's freezing a little bit. Okay, there we go. You're good.
Okay. Do you want me to pick up just where I was?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, the biggest problem with Title IX violations is that students and administrators and faculty, they don't know what their Title IX rights are as pregnant students. So,
And why do you think that, really quick, why do you think that is? Why do you think we don't know about this? Because I didn't really know anything about this myself.
It's just a big lack of education. It's something that they're just not pushing to the forefront. You know, they, I don't want to say that they just want students to have abortions. That's not necessarily accurate, but they're just not doing a good enough job at educating students. A lot of times, like the faculty does know what the students' Title IX rights are if they're pregnant, but they just don't care. Or more commonly, I think a lot of teachers and administrators, they don't know. So if like one of their students is pregnant and they're like, well, sorry, like you missed your final, I don't know what to do about that, you know, but the student has a right to make up their homework because they shouldn't have to fail their classes because they're pregnant. That's discrimination. But a lot of times these teachers, they just don't know that that's what the student has a right to, so they don't know how to proceed from there. And students don't know either. So if you're pregnant and your teacher tells you and you missed your final or whatever, because there's a story of one girl, her name is Ruth, and she missed her finals because she gave birth the week before and she failed her classes and lost her financial aid. But that shouldn't have happened. She should have been able to retake her finals and not get kicked out of a program or whatever it is. And her teachers had no bad intentions. They just didn't know what her rights are, and she didn't know either. So I am of the belief that discrimination against pregnant students doesn't start with, you know, people just not wanting to help them. It starts with a lack of education. Discrimination starts with not teaching students and not teaching their faculty and administrators what their rights are. So because women can't stand up for their rights if they don't even know what those are. And even if you're not pregnant, we should all be able to, you know, stand up for our friends. If one of our friends is pregnant on campus, we should be able to say like, hey, this is the help you can get. Your school's allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. It's really about education and awareness.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably one of the biggest hurdles that we have in this fight for women to be able to get these resources is just education. I think a lot of women just aren't aware of the things that they have, the Title IX benefits that they have. And if, like you said, if you're not aware, you can't advocate for yourself. So this is good. Everyone listening, this is another episode that's going to be really important to share with your friends because if women can do it all. They can do it all, especially with help with their community. And if they are made aware of their options and they're made aware of their resources, then they're able to be more successful when they are pregnant. So my next question, I think, is kind of just to transition a little bit over. So we know about Title IX. We know our rights now. Now, let's say you are pregnant on campus and you need some help. What are some things that what's out there for a pregnant student on campus?
So on campus, as far as what your school needs to provide to you, as I said, it's, you know, things like being able to take medical absences, being able to nurse or pump at school. A lot of schools, and they're not required to, but a lot of schools can provide child care and things like that. So I would look to like your Title IX coordinator to see like what resources are available. And also I wanted to add that these Title IX rights apply to students who are pregnant and parenting, but also students who have had miscarriages or abortions or false pregnancies. Those are all things that fall under this as well. So if you've experienced any of those things, then this applies to you as well. On campus, I would look to see what outside of Title IX, what your school offers as benefits. Sometimes schools have scholarships. Outside of that, and we'll talk about this a little bit more after, but there's just thousands and thousands of pregnancy resources across America that aren't affiliated with your school, but are really, really important to learn about and access.
Great. So let's just go ahead and talk about them. Standing With You is an amazing program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Standing With You is an initiative of Students for Life of America, Students for Life being the big pro-life organization that we're both familiar with. So right now I intern for Standing With You.
Our audience should be familiar with it as well. You guys should know by this point.
And so I intern for Standing With You right now, so they're part of Students for Life. But basically what we do is we focus on pregnancy resources. So the initiative was actually called Pregnant on Campus Initiative, and we rebranded at the beginning of 2021 to Standing With You. But the idea is the same, to have like it's basically a hub of all of the pregnancy resources in the United States, not just for campuses. So it started out as something as an advocate group for pregnant students, but now it's just for anyone who needs this. So we're kind of shifting away from like the campus focus to just a nationwide focus. But obviously it's still there for students too. A lot of times there's campus resources that students can access, like, you know, student groups on campus who offer scholarships and things like that. But so Standing With You basically takes all the pregnancy resources we can find, all the life-affirming pregnancy resources, whether it's medical care, child care, insurance, shelter, food. We can go through some more of the things later, but basically what it does is you go onto the website standingwithyou.org, you type in your zip code, and it will bring up all of the different resources that you might need, and you can go by category, whether you need food or shelter, and it's for pregnant women, but also for domestic violence, so that women can find shelter. So what I do basically is I kind of like streamline and vet all the resources. I go through them, I put them in the website. So most of the things that you see in there will very likely be something that I set up in there. But we just recently passed 3,000 resources, so it's pretty amazing, honestly, how many resources are out there. Yeah,
that's a comprehensive
huge,
list,
honestly, because and again, like, one of the biggest problems is that women just don't know, they're not aware of the resources that are available to them. So a lot of times they feel pressure to make a certain, you know, decision about their life based on the fact that they don't think that they have any other options. And what we're trying to do is make sure that no woman ever feels like she's out of options. And it's especially important for students, because as a student, if you become pregnant, you're like, well, I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't take care of this baby. I can't get my degree and take care of this baby, or, you know, I can't achieve my dreams. And basically our motto is no woman stands alone. And our mission is to create a world where no woman ever feels like she has to choose between her child and her dreams.
I love that. And I think that's really important with everything that's going on in society right now. It's so important for us to be able to support pregnant women in however they need the support. And I love the no woman stands alone, because that's really how we are going to be able to move forward in society. That's really how we're going to be able to help people, is if we are standing with our fellow sisters, especially us women. I think men need to step up too, but I really do think women we can really step up, because the reality is, if I myself was experiencing unplanned pregnancy, I'm not going to go talk to Bob over there. I'm going to talk to Mary. That's just how it is. That's just the truth of the matter. So that's really great that they have all of those resources, and these are resources all across the country.
We have
correct?
Resources in all 50 states, and when I say we, I'm talking about basically just incredible people from all over the country who set these up. Most of them are free. We try to keep it at least low cost. Most of the resources you'll find in Standing With You are free. If not, there's like just some very, very low cost things in there. For example, you might find a pregnancy center that will do like free ultrasounds, free pregnancy tests, things like that. And maybe they'll charge a little bit for like an STD test, like just for the lab tests, but everything they provide is free of charge for themselves. So if they have to like pay for something outside, then you know, maybe it will cost a little there, but then I can't give you a percentage, but I would say the majority of the resources in there are free, and our goal is just to make them very easy to access, very easy to find. We have all the contact information, links to websites in there. So it's in all 50 states. So obviously it's not the same amount in every state, because, you know, some states are bigger or smaller, but I mean, we're averaging like 600 per state if we're over 3,000 resources. So all 50 states, and just every kind of resource in every state: pregnancy centers, shelters, food. We also have like links for affordable childcare, subsidies to help them. We have also, and since we're speaking of students, there's a lot of links in there to find scholarships and grants. Some for any students, some specifically for pregnant students and parenting students. Basically, like, definitely. So you can go on Standing With You and go to the Finance Your Education category, and you can find all kinds of scholarships to apply for, whether they're national or just in your state. There's a lot of help out there for pregnant students, because we want to see them succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And when we see people succeed, it helps them as well as us. It helps us as a community, helps us as a country. We want successful people. We want intelligent, successful people as well. And we want more nurses. We want more doctors. We want more lawyers. We I'm trying to think of other things you can be in college, because when I was in college, it was we want more teachers. Like this is good. This is good things. So
I also say we want people to be able to achieve their dreams. It's we want to see these women succeed, and really everybody does. And I think that that's on both sides of the line, because you and I are both very pro-life, and we'll never apologize for that. But I think in general, most people, they just want to see women succeed. They want to see women get their education, start their careers, and be successful. They want to see women thrive. I think really the point we need to make is just showing people that women never need to feel pressured into, getting an abortion or losing what it is that they're working towards. Like, they don't need to choose. Like, both things are achievable if you know where to get the right help.
Yes, I love that. And I think you're right on the nose. I think both sides do, for the most part. I've been saying this, the more I do advocacy outside of the internet, when you really talk to people in real life, most people do want women to succeed. Most people really do care about women, but they just have I believe, a completely incorrect, wrong way, and they just need to be educated and told the truth. And also, too, some people probably need God to work on their hearts. But the point is, though, almost all of us really do want women to succeed and to have their dreams. So also, too, Standing With You has resources, and I want to talk a little bit about pregnancy resource centers. They are local nonprofits, so they need your money. Donate, everyone, donate. They're local nonprofits that do not get money from the government, that help women in unplanned pregnancies or in situations where they are facing difficulty with their pregnancy. Can you share a little bit about that?
Talk about pregnancy resource centers? The biggest thing that Standing With You promotes is these pregnancy resource centers. The most common, when I was filling out the resources, I would find that you would find generally the same things at every single one. Some of them have different things as well, but the core things that they all have are pregnancy tests, parenting classes. Most of them have STD testing, and a lot of them have STD and STI treatment. Most of them will have ultrasounds, and what else will they have? They will have counseling, so options counseling. Most of them will do community referrals for housing, financial aid, and adoption. That's actually another huge thing I forgot to mention that Standing With You promotes is adoption. We have a lot of really, really great adoption centers that we've linked in there, and you can find them in any state. But yeah, so these pregnancy centers, they don't necessarily do all those things. They're not an adoption resource themselves, but they will do referrals. And yeah, they kind of just, they're outside of all the physical things that they can offer. They are a place where women can go when they don't have anywhere else to go. If they're pregnant, if they're alone, they're scared, they have counseling. They have people who are going to walk with them through their pregnancy, going to encourage them. Right. And
that won't judge them.
Exactly.
Every literally just want to help.
Websites say we this is just a phrase that I've had to use so many times when putting in the descriptions: confidential, non-judgmental, and what is the other word? Compassionate. They're all on the same page with that. And they all have their own way of saying it, but they all use those words, and they're basically just saying, they will give abortion information. They will teach women, what the procedure is, how it works. They won't perform them or refer for them, but they're just there to give women all their options. They just want women to know the truth about what it is that they're deciding to do so that they can make the best decision for themselves. So they'll, if you want to be a parent, they'll give you parenting classes. If you want to choose adoption, they will help you through that process, and they will, they might not be the adoption center themselves, but they will walk with you through the process. If you're considering abortion, they will, give you all the facts on what that is. So that's why they're really, really important. And they're just, a place where women can go and heal. They also, a lot of them do post-abortion healing. So there's a lot of women, who have had an abortion and they're hurting from it. And so these places, will do post-abortion counseling and help women heal from that. A lot of places also do the abortion pill reversal, which I'm sure you know about, but that's one of the coolest things ever, where Yeah, so like if you've
Yeah,
taken the
let's talk
abortion
about
pill,
that.
the first abortion, so the chemical abortion is like 2 pills, which a lot of people don't know. But if you've taken the first pill, there's actually a possibility of reversing it if like within 24 hours or so, if you haven't taken the second pill yet, it is reversible because what it does is it blocks the progesterone, and it's meant to starve the baby to death, and then the second pill will induce labor, essentially. But if you haven't taken the second pill, it's completely possible to reverse it. It doesn't always work, but it is very possible. So a lot of these centers will help women. Yeah.
It's a very high percentage.
It's really amazing what they do with it. So if a woman decides like, oh, I didn't want to do that, she can go to these pregnancy centers, and they can either do it, or they can refer her very quickly to somewhere that can do it.
Yeah, and I love that. I am a very, 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 very big advocate for pregnancy resource centers. I personally, my mom was on the board of the main one in Charlotte when I grew up. So I've known about pregnancy resource centers for a really long time. I knew that there were options for women, and I didn't know that there's so many women out there who do not know about these other options. And I talked to a friend. I was on his podcast a couple months ago, and he told me he's been pro-life his whole life, but he didn't even really know about pregnancy resource centers. So I started talking so much about them. So I think this is just another call. And I've said this before on the podcast, and I'll say it again. This is just another call to make sure that you are talking about them. Make sure you are donating. What's the saying? Your time, talents, and treasure. So you don't have to donate money. They need it. So if you can, please do. And it doesn't have to be, you go to those dinners and they're like, all right, man, we could really use $500 from everybody a month. Okay, Mallory's not there yet. Mallory's not there. I could do about $10 a month where I am right now. And 10 years from now, maybe I could do $500 a month. But right now I can't. And that $10 here, that $10 there, that really does make a difference. Your talents. They need people to help them with social media. They need people, they need nurses. A lot of pregnancy resource centers that do have ultrasound technology, you have to be trained for that. One of the great things that I can say about pregnancy resource centers that I cannot say about Planned Parenthoods is that they make sure that everyone that is doing something medical is actually trained. If you listen to our episode last year, I'll link it somewhere, where we talked with Annette, who had left Planned Parenthood. If you listen to that episode, she explained how she actually had to help assist. She helped guide something dealing with an abortion, and she's not trained for that. She's not medically trained. She was just supposed to be doing administration. In a pregnancy resource center, you will not have that problem. The woman who's doing your ultrasound, she has been trained. She has her credentials and everything like that too. So if you have that talent, if you are blessed with that ability to help, that's another great way. Talent. Oh, and then time. Yeah, that's your talent. So time, it could be, sometimes they need people to stuff envelopes for, maybe let's say there's a banquet that they're having where there are people at those banquets who can give $500 a month, and they just need to know about it. So maybe they need people to advertise for them. Maybe they need people to help set up. Maybe they need people to greet. I know a lot of pregnancy resource centers have someone who greets people when they come in, someone with a nice, happy, welcoming smile. If you have that time and you have that talent, being happy and peppy is definitely a talent. If you have that, a pregnancy resource center could absolutely use you. And during this time, we absolutely need to be doing our best to giving our time, talent, and treasure, because once when you enter a Post Roe America, they're going to be flooded. People are going to always have sex. They're going to always be pregnant. That is not something that's going to stop. So we need to, if you consider yourself pro-life, you need to be doing your part to help. And every city has one. Some might be better. Some might be better or worse. Some might be better. Some might be, I couldn't think of the opposite of better. Some might be better than others. And if you look at your pregnancy resource center and you're like, oh man, they have 2 people working here and I feel like they do nothing. Well then, sir, that is God's calling on you. So that means you step up, you see how you can help, because we really have to, and I mean, even another thing too, I just thought of this. Melanie and I have both talked about on the sidewalk where, for example, Planned Parenthood, abortion days are not always every day. So one of the great things that we can do is we can take their business, the Planned Parenthood business, by saying, okay, well, if you're here for STD, STI testing, well, this Pregnancy Resource Center actually does that. So that's great. I've been seeing a couple years ago that wasn't a thing, but I've been hearing that a lot at various pregnancy resource centers. There's about 4 in the Charlotte area. I say Charlotte area because Charlotte is like very wide and encompassing, and there's like cities around Charlotte that say they're part of Charlotte. Anyway, in the Charlotte area, there's about 4 or 5, and I believe 2 of them do STD testing. So that's great that more resource centers are doing that, because the more people we can take away
and I
from
would
Planned
say
Parenthood,
that just from what I've seen and from the many, many resources I've put into standingwithyou.com or .org, I don't know why I said .com, but from all the resources I've put in, I think it's safe to say that the majority now are doing STD and STI testing, and then not the majority are doing treatment,
That's
but
great.
A large number of them are doing treatment. So again, I can't give you like a number off the top of my head because I've put in hundreds of these, but it's I would say most of them are doing testing, and then a lot of them are doing treatment. And if they're not doing the treatment themselves, they know how to refer for that.
Wow, that's fantastic. Also, too, the ultrasounds. Almost all of them do ultrasound. Now, I don't think I know of a pregnancy resource center that does not have an ultrasound tech and an ultrasound machine. And that's another thing. In North Carolina, I know for a fact, in North Carolina and in Virginia, you have to pay to get an ultrasound. All you have to do is tell, your pregnant friend on campus, or just someone, your pregnant friend, whoever. All you have to do is tell them they can get a free ultrasound. Definitely. And that's just a great way to get them in the door of the Pregnancy Resource Center, because they're free. In Pregnancy Resource Centers, they're free. If you go to Planned Parenthood, any other abortion facility, and I know specifically North Carolina and in Virginia, it costs
ultrasounds will cost.
So these are
a lot of money. I mean, I've been very close with a lot of women who've been pregnant. Like, I've been around pregnant women a lot my whole life, and like, they're expensive. Honestly, like I have a lot of younger siblings, and I don't know if they really needed it, but like, wow, my mom could have gotten a free ultrasound, because I mean, they're free, and like all of the services at these clinics, the majority of these clinics, all of their services will be free of charge.
And I think also too, and I'm just gonna say it. And if I'm overstepping, come let me know, and I'll pay. Well, I'll see. I can help if I pay, but I think if you even let them know that you can't pay, I'm sure they will work with you. I don't see a pregnancy resource center saying, "Oh well, goodbye." I don't see that at all. I see them wanting to work with you. And if I'm wrong, like I said, come tell me. And I don't know if I can pay, but I know people who I can talk to that will pay for you. So it's really just about community and like coming together and helping each other. That's really what this whole thing is about. That's what the whole purpose of being pro-life is wanting to help each other and wanting to give people these resources. And as Christians, I think it's also really important for us to help the least of these, help people
absolutely.
And who can't help themselves.
I don't see a pregnancy center ever turning a woman away for not being able to pay for something, because that would defeat the purpose of what they exist for.
I don't see that
which is to basically help women who are in difficult situations.
Exactly.
So I think you're right about learning about these, and that awareness and education is definitely the number one thing. I don't think, basically, as someone who's been working with these resources for a while now, I can say we don't have a shortage of resources in this country. Like, we've got it covered, really. What we have a shortage of is awareness and education. And that's where we really need to focus. Because I think, and like we said earlier, I think most people on both sides of the pro-life or pro-choice side, most people really, really just want to be compassionate towards women. Most people want to do what's best for women. Most people want to see women succeed. And so basically we just need to make sure that people know, hey, these resources are out there, because if they don't know about them, that's the number one issue. If they don't know that they're there, they're not going to be able to access them. They're not going to be able to use them. They're not going to be able to tell their friends about them because, and I think it's really important to like make sure guys know about this too, because, if you're a guy and your girlfriend gets pregnant, you're thinking, well, I don't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do. But if you know of a pregnancy center, and I can guarantee you there's one close to you, or if you know of like a maternity home, because that's another thing we have a ton of in there is maternity homes where women can go live and grow and help and learn how to take care of their children.
Nice.
They have counseling, and they just they have a place where they can live while they're pregnant and after they give birth to their baby. So if your girlfriend is pregnant and you're both like, well, what do we do? There's resources out there, and it's really important for men to know about this because, or it might not even be your girlfriend. It could be your sister or your friend or your friend's girlfriend, really there's nobody out there who doesn't need this information because everybody knows someone who could get pregnant. I remember I was door knocking I think I was in DC last summer door knocking for pregnancy resources, or it might have been Virginia. No, it was DC. And we were, handing out information about the local pregnancy resources, and somebody was like, well, I can't get pregnant. And I'm like, well, but like, I'm sure you know someone who can. Like, I don't know any women, any slam that are. I'm like, okay, well, that's the one person in America who doesn't know someone who could get pregnant.
Hilarious.
But everybody else needs this information.
I don't know
anyone who could get pregnant. I'm like,
yeah.
But pretty much everybody else knows somebody who could need these resources.
So
therefore, everybody needs to know this information. Everybody needs to know what your rights are on campus, and everybody needs to know about the local and national resources that are available.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to piggyback off of that, when I was door knocking for abortion-free cities a couple of weeks ago in Chapel Hill, an older lady was like, "Oh, I'm way past this age. I don't need this information." I was like, "Yes, but you might know someone that does." Like Lili was saying, this is really important stuff, and you have no idea when you'll come across someone who needs help, and you want to be able to provide them with some information. Standingwithyou.org, I think, is just a great place to go. I will say also, too, the Anti-Abortion Social Club, we're going to be doing a lot more with resources. Our two goals are education and resources, so people are ready for a Post Roe America. We're going to be doing a lot more on our page with having a couple of websites, resources, different things for everyone to have. Because our goal, once again, is to help mama and baby. And when we help mama and baby, we can see more. It'll help society. It'll be better. It just, in this post-Roe world, I'm just imagining, this is very, this won't probably happen for a couple of years. But I'm just imagining, someone finds out they're pregnant. They have so many circumstances, so many things stacked against them. But they do know that they can go to Queen City Pregnancy Resource Center, Cabarrus Women's Center, Palmetto Women's Center, and they will be welcomed with open arms. They'll have all of their needs met, as well as be given other opportunities and other ways to give them a hand. What is it? A hand up instead of a handout. There'll just be so many things that they just won't even be, they won't be scared. They'll be like, oh, if it was unplanned, just like, oh man, can't believe that happened. Well, I know where to go. I just think it'll be easier on the baby. It'll be easier on society. It will just be easier for everyone.
And I'm really glad that you brought up Post Roe America, because that's something that's coming upon us hopefully pretty soon. Basically, for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure if you listen to Mel's podcast, you do know, but the Supreme Court decision, Dobbs versus Jackson, it was, the decision potentially was leaked a little while ago. It's not completely official yet, but it's really starting to look like Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned this summer. And when that happens, a lot of states are going to outlaw abortion. And I think right now there's a big uproar in our country. There's a lot of people who are very upset about that. And, as pro-life people, we're not upset. We're excited, but I can see where the fear is coming from, and the anger and the, being upset about this. It comes from basically what we've been talking about this whole time, a lack of knowledge, a lack of awareness and education on what resources you actually can access. Because, for us, we know that abortion is wrong, but for someone who, has always had that in the back of their head as an option, the idea of abortion now being banned is very scary, because now you're like, oh, okay, well, if I get pregnant, what am I going to do? I'm going to lose everything, or I'm going to die, or I'm going to, not be able to have my career, all these things. So those are legitimate fears. So I don't want anyone in the, on the other side of the issue to ever think that the pro-life movement, like, we don't care, like, too bad, sucks for you. That's not at all what we're about. But I really wanted to stress that Post Roe America, when Roe versus Wade is overturned, Post Roe America is not something to be afraid of. A lot of people are very afraid right now, and understandably, because they don't know about these resources. So rather than, obviously we're going to celebrate, but I think the number one thing we need to do is to stand there, be sober about it, and be, I understand you're afraid. I understand you're concerned. I understand you're scared. Or even if you're not worried for yourself, you're worried for your daughters or your friends or whoever it is, like, oh, like, well, if they needed an abortion now, they can't get one. That's not something that you need to be afraid of, because in Post Roe America, the pro-life movement is ready to take that on and to make sure that we're building a society where that's not even like a necessity anymore. Like, nobody feels like they need to do that. There's other countries that have done that, where they actually haven't even outlawed abortion, which, we disagree with that. But the point is that there's several countries who don't have strict abortion laws, but they have so many resources and so much awareness about those resources that women don't even feel like they need abortion. They don't get them because it's not even really a thought that crosses their mind. It's so rare because they know how supported and loved they are. And that's what we're trying to create. So looking at that, we know that it can be done. We know that you can create a society where women are like, well, yeah, this is a tough situation, but it's okay because I'm taken care of. And the amazing thing about local resources like these pregnancy centers is that, oh, it's not just like the government who couldn't care less about me taking care of me. The government is, and hopefully will continue to do more to take care of these women. But a lot of it's like real, like person to person. There's people in your city, who care about you, who are going to do everything they can to help you. And then in terms of like the government, the government should be doing more to help these women, because if we are going to overturn Roe versus Wade, then, we need to help with, good healthcare, real healthcare, and access to that, better childcare, maternity leave, and things like that. And those are all things that we advocate for, So I just really want to stress to anyone listening who may not be so happy about the coming Post Roe America that this isn't something that you need to be scared of, because again, we're standing with you. No woman stands alone. And it doesn't matter, what your opinion is. You could agree with us or disagree with us on the issue of abortion, but it really doesn't matter. If you're pregnant, we're there for you. We want to help you.
Yes, I love that. That was honestly, Lily, that was a great way to wrap it up. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I would say check out standingwithyou.org. Again, yeah, and like I said, it's even if you don't think you need this information for yourself, you never know, maybe one day you will. But I guarantee you know someone who could need this, or maybe you'll meet someone. Like, everybody needs to familiarize themselves with this. So just go on. We just relaunched the website on Valentine's Day, so it's all brand new. It's super pretty. Like, I would just go on there, look up your zip code, explore, familiarize yourself with the things in your area, so that if a friend comes to you and says like, hey, I'm pregnant, or I have a friend who's pregnant, or my girlfriend's pregnant, or if they already have a kid and they're like, hey, I'm struggling financially, or I don't know what to do, or if they're in a domestic violence situation, because we have things like that too, you already know, because you've already looked at all the resources in your area. You can say like, oh yeah, definitely, I know where you can go to live. I know where you can find shelter. I know where you can find food. We have hundreds of like food banks in there. You can be that person that can say, I know that I got you. I can take care of this. Like, I know where to direct you, and I will walk with you as well. So I would say that, like, just browse Standing With You. Go look around it, familiarize yourself with the things in your area. Familiarize yourself with Title IX, because it starts, like I said, it starts with education. So you need to be, if you're listening, this is your call to action. You need to be that person who knows what a pregnant student's rights are on campus, so that it could be a friend of a friend that you hear, oh, somebody's pregnant, you can say, okay, well, these are their rights, just so they know. You can be that person. And then once you start to be that person, you'll find more people will start coming to you. More people will go like, oh, she knows about resources. She knows about Title IX rights. He knows where I can find help. So really educating yourself is the most important thing, because you can't help other people if you don't educate yourself. So there's that. And then also, like you had said, Mel, earlier, volunteering, donating your money, donating your time, because it's real people who keep these things afloat, these resources. So yeah, we need to give whatever it is that we can. And, especially Post Roe America is coming. We need to show that we, as members of the community, that we're there for these women. And we need to make sure that these resources are kept alive. I wouldn't say that they're struggling, but like every little bit helps. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Your pregnancy resource center will never turn down a check. I promise you, they will never turn down a check. They absolutely can use the money. They are not using the money themselves. There's women who are coming in that need help, and that money's going directly to them. So, I just want to say that.
And
no pregnancy resource center is going to turn down your check.
Maternity clothes. If you've been pregnant in the past, they have. That's the one other thing I forgot to mention that pretty much all of these pregnancy centers have is it's so cute. They all call it baby boutiques. They have like this little closet where it's just, and like my local pregnancy resource center, I have a couple of them, but these little closets are so cute, and they're just filled with like baby clothes, maternity clothes, formula diapers. So if you have old baby clothes, if you have old maternity clothes, if you want to donate diapers. Car seats. Car seats. Actually,
I know some of them.
They can do car seats, but car seats can expire. So I know that at least in my city in San Diego, there's programs where you can go to either the police department or the fire station, where they will give you a free car seat, basically, because it's. Yeah, and that's actually something, now that you brought it up,
that's important to know.
We should probably try to find things like that, because I have noticed that a lot of the pregnancy centers don't necessarily always have car seats, because those are things that need to be like approved, because car seats need to be like, because I guess like plastic gets brittle or something. Yeah, so they expire. But I know at least where I live, there's places you can go to get a free car seat, because it's illegal to drive around with your baby without a car seat. So we need to be giving women these things, if they can, which people want babies in car seats too. So that's something really important. I would definitely hopefully we're gonna get some of that in standing with you, because now that you mention it, it should probably be in there. But if you want to just look it up, you can probably find in your city where you can find a free car seat. And another thing that fire stations can provide is every single state has something called a safe haven law. So you hear a lot of people who are more pro-choice saying, well, there's going to be a lot of abandoned babies, then they're going to be neglected and die. All 50 states have a safe haven law, and what that is a law that says that every area needs to have a safe, secure place for babies to be safely surrendered. So for most cities, that's a fire station. They have little drop boxes, and you can go to Standing With You and find where those are in your city. Basically, you can, if you have your baby and you realize you can't take care of that baby, you can drop it off, no questions asked, anonymously, which, obviously that's a very a difficult thing to do, but if that's what a woman decides she needs to do, all 50 states have that. And you can safely, anonymously surrender your baby. So that's something else that you can find. So basically, our cities are filled with resources that women they don't even know about. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's our duty to let them know. One of the ways you can let them know is share this episode. Everyone, this is the perfect episode to share with your friend, whether she's pro-life or pro-choice, because this is some of the options for the choice. If someone says they're pro-choice, it also means that they should be pro-women getting resources that they need, pro women who want to have their child being supported. So this is a great episode to share with all of your friends. I think we learned a lot about Title IX, things that I did not know, and we learned a lot about the resources that are offered, that are available to women. And we also learned we absolutely need to be talking about this. We have to continue this conversation in the Post Roe America. Already, we're not even in the Post Roe America, but we're already seeing all of this misinformation, all of these false, all these lies and mischaracterization of different bills and things like that. So we just need to make sure that we are being truth in this crazy, chaotic time, and that we are truly trying to help people. Is a truth. That's just one of the truths. So if you like this episode, make sure you rate, review, subscribe. Once again, share this if you're on wherever you listen, Spotify, Apple, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening on. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble, literally everywhere. Share. People need to know this information. Lili, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you giving us this information. And if anyone has any questions, please follow Lili. Your Instagram is
LiliProvida. So yeah, I would say also, if anybody is out there and listening to this and wants to learn more about pregnancy resources or about Title IX, just like wants to talk to somebody confidentially, you can always DM me and I'm there and I can help you through it. Or if you have a friend that needs help, yeah, definitely get in touch if you ever want some advice or just more information about this.
Perfect. Thank you again, Lili, and thank you everybody for listening. Bye-bye.